missed apex again. Oh, this sliding around. Definitely bringing the car in. Yeah, there we go. No choice other than that. I think Nils is getting in the car, right?
It's got to be. I mean, which, to be fair, I am all for. The two faster drivers in each of the cars, Nils Naujoks versus Dáire McCormack, in a toe-to-toe fight in the season finale for a title and a race win. That is the perfect nail-biter that we want to end this championship here in the VCOxLFM FLExTREME. This race has been pretty entertaining, I've got to say. We were kind of critical of how it was in Watkins Glen. Still maintain 9 hours is a little bit too long for some of these races, but we've had an interesting season, up and down. Yeah, had some ups, some downs, certainly going both ways. But this race has been very interesting, not just because of the championship, because of the fights we've had at the front. And I just get the feeling that we are in for a very exciting final hour. Final sector to be ticked off for Dáire McCormack, and of course BS Competition are expected to get moving again. I completely agree with you. I think, as you can see by the fact that they're driving away, it will be Nils Naujoks behind the wheel. Naujoks versus McCormack, 1 hour left to go and a title to decide.
Yeah, I think BS Competition are just about going to hold on to the lead. Again, it was a very scrappy in-lap. They will, again, have the momentum. Yeah, then it should be pretty comprehensive, to be honest.
Should be.
Yeah, there you go. So it's closer. It was 4.9 seconds as they came into the pits, and, well, Nils is now stuck behind a Brabham car, which is also a lap down. So right now, this is not really what BS Competition would have wanted. So this is going to go down to the wire. We are going to see the battle. It's Williams versus BS Competition with 55 minutes to go. Winner takes all for the FLExTREME Season 1.
Yeah, he's annoyed a little bit. You saw the little, scrunching of the lips, the grimace, the irritation, the shake of the head. Not only for the time loss, but the fact that they got the Williams Esports car directly ahead, heading around this awkward right-hander again.
That Williams will be faster now, by the way.
I was going to say, tyres up to temperature already on the Williams Esports car. Out onto the Mistral straight, less than a second between these two. Whilst they're running third and fourth in the race, the Get Closer Racing car and Westside Competition Racing are running 1 and 2, not separated by very much at all. We've got to keep focused on this because it is the championship. And the race.
McCormack, I think, just had a shot of Zambuca, which is always good. That'll get him going. On the back straight. He has a shot of something.
He's not much of a drinker.
No, that's true. It's only a joke, Lewis. Christ.
Yeah, but he's a good boy.
Down to the back straight then, in towards the sweeping right-hander. He's got Nils right in front of him, exactly where he wants him. He needs to be careful here, though. Does not want to push too hard and burn those tyres out early. Still got to look after them. Still make sure they're strong for a whole stint. Nils now running alongside the Brabham car. Gets pinched onto the apex. You can see there's not real much movement in Nils Naujoks' face. He's been in this situation time and time again, maybe hundreds of times, and the Williams car actually gets let through a little bit quickly. There is less than a second between the front two. We are going to get the showdown we want, and it's really between the two cars that have been the most consistent all season long. BS Competition still lead, but Williams are very hot on their tails.
Oh, what a fantastic way to end this championship. Everything we've wanted building up to this. Williams Esports versus BS Competition. Two teams.
For Christ's sake, don't shout over each other. Just don't.
No, okay? we can't shout. There's no shouting on this broadcast. We actually have to have a very calm PG broadcast, no swearing either. Right. Sorry.
I've ruined that, I think, about 4 times today, to be fair.
As they'll head through the first corner, and Nils Naujoks will continue to lead the race.
Oh, it's a really nice use there of the curb as we see some suspension rolling through turn 3, now down towards the very hard braking zone of turn 4. As you notice, a lovely cluster of trees in the background as we see the stadium there with the green flags being flown. Oh, just a glorious place here in Paul Ricard.
Do you think anyone sat there watching thinking, what are these two talking about?
No, I have not. I think that's quite the common thought process every time we commentate, mate.
Oh dear, yeah, no, of course we're not actually going to commentate on that for the next 53 minutes because that would be idiocy. Anyway, moving on. Love the picture here, by the way.
This is great.
Again,
keep it like this forever.
Mike Yao doing all the broadcast work, throwing it in. Obviously,
I think he's lost his voice.
Oh no, same, absolutely. Because he's
definitely lost his voice.
Ages, or he's broken his mic. Left hand side's the broadcast feed, right hand side's on board with Dáire McCormack, and below that you can see into the eyes of both of them as they fight for the race win and the championship. McCormack and Naujoks. Now, as much as I would say the team Williams esports car is faster than BS Competition, I don't know which driver here is the fastest. I'd still lean towards McCormack, but it's that racecraft, it's that knowledge that Naujoks has got.
Is there the potential for the passing of a torch here as well?
Almost.
The old guy, but the young calf coming through. Although there's a little bit of oversteer there for old Dáire McCormack. Like this is a staple of sim racing from the late 90s. Nils Naujoks versus someone who wasn't born in the late 90s, Dáire McCormack.
Oh, don't remind me.
As much as we make fun out of Nils for being old and stuff, to be fair, he's not much older than me, so I probably should keep my mouth shut on this one. But yeah, he has been around a long time, but it's a positive because he's been consistently at the top of sim racing for that period of time because of his ability. Like longevity is something that is very rare in sim racing. There's maybe 5 or 6 drivers that you would have seen in 10 years ago in this space still knocking around. Dáire McCormack, someone who's just burst onto the scene. So this really is so many different storylines here. The 2 best teams of this championship, potentially the 2 best drivers going at it as well. There's just so much to love about this.
And what was interesting was genuinely 2 rounds ago, before we went to Watkins Glen, it was looking like BS Competition were just gonna do it. They were just gonna, it almost seemed like yeah, so what? And then one qualifying lap changed everything.
Yeah.
As Filippa Bakida just brushed over the track limits, not trying to put any blame on her, but they didn't really respond very well. They got involved in too much. They didn't rise their way back up the order like they did at Monza, and they were really on the back foot. And here today, they've done everything they can. They are doing everything they can, but will it be enough? Because Williams Esports, who by the way have set on the previous lap a joint fastest lap at 2:11.180. Wow. It's the second time today we've seen that, so that's interesting. But Dáire McCormack, if you want to know how much he's pushing, that shows it.
Yes. How much are you pushing, Dáire? Yes.
Just
yes. That's pretty much the only answer we can give here. It's very one thing we have seen today. It's very difficult to make an overtake. It'd be difficult for these cars to get laps on vehicles, let alone overtake someone with genuine pace. But Dáire McCormack is clearly the faster of the 2, but that will be also with the help of the slipstream. They've got a back marker to contend with, so really it's all about being patient. We've got plenty of time, 50 minutes to go. All you need is one mistake if you're Dáire McCormack, but you can ill afford to make that mistake yourself. Just got to keep piling that pressure on and hope that Nils cracks at some point, but Nils doesn't tend to crack at all. It's a very interesting battle.
I mean, like I say, as much as Dáire McCormack set the fastest lap of the race, joint fastest lap of the race with Bastian Richter, Nils Naujoks did set the fastest lap in his car. It was a personal best lap for the BS Competition team on the previous lap, which is mad fast. 2:11.2. These 2 are leaving nothing on the table. This lap time was a 2:11.5 and a 2:11.4 for Naujoks and then McCormack respectively. But like you say, I think Slipstream's probably assisting a little bit more towards skewing the lap time, so it's more so in Williams Esports' favour, of course, as you would expect. It's what's making Williams Esports look fast. I think if Dáire McCormack is able to get through, the race is not done. I get the feeling Naujoks will be able to fight this one back, and this will last, unless incident, for the next 49 minutes and whatever's left of the race, which I am all for, thank you very much. I cannot wait.
Oh, I'm loving this camera shot. This is perfect. This is getting every angle we need to see. You're able to see who's braking later, who's able to take more of speed through the corners as well. It looks like Nils is a little bit slower on entry, but a little bit faster on exit, which is perfect. That's what you want here. Dáire maybe pushing it a touch onto entry, but as we head down that long back straight, you'll see on the right-hand side of your screens the car getting a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, and a little bit bigger. Not quite going to be close enough to make a move, but again, you're going to start to maybe make Nils drive with the rear view mirror. He's an experienced driver. It's not something that you would expect from someone like him, but at this stage of a championship, for the championship, pressure does strange things.
Hold your breath. Let's see if there's going to be any moves soon. Not down into the double right hand. This is where these 2 cars have made contact before in this race. Tinko van der Velde behind the wheel, Arthur Camara behind the wheel of the BS Competition car. Tinko van der Velde getting very aggressively down the inside. Contact was made. They got away with it after an appeal. It was originally a 5-second time penalty, which was rescinded from race control. Williams Esports will get a 5-second time penalty when Igor Rodriguez was behind the wheel, made contact with Filippa Bakida. So these 2 cars have made contact, but not with these 2 drivers, with their other counterparts. Will they make contact on this occasion?
Which team manager would you want to be, BS Competition or Williams?
Williams, right now.
Oh, I see. I'm glad that you said that, because I think BS. I think having track position is vital.
It is, but there is just... there is
It's such an interesting dynamic, man, though, isn't it?
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I think one thing that we can say is that regardless as to who wins the championship, whether it is BS or Williams, they have pushed each other to the very, very limit. They have put on a show for every single one of us, commentary booth, you at home, back in the broadcast, and for the championship. They've put on a great show for all of us, and they are leaving nothing on the table. That is the important bit here, is regardless who wins, they have certainly earned it.
Oh, 100%. And I would like to think that there's going to be a virtual handshake between both teams, because they've battled throughout the whole season. They have been on narrative. A couple of other teams have tried to get involved, but in terms of consistency, these teams have been right up there. Regardless of where they've qualified, they've always performed well in the race. They've never really gone backwards in a race, and that is the sign of champions.
Yeah, a bit of a laugh there from Nils Naujoks. He's hopefully it's not a nervous laugh. I'm not sure it would be. Like I say, he's keeping his eyes focused. There's not too much he can do as they run down the 1.8 kilometre Mistral straight. A couple of little looks there from Dáire McCormack, but he certainly is not close enough to try anything. Tap of the brakes, roll it through. Let's see. Next up's the double right-hander, where there is at least some form of opportunity. But again, like you're saying, it is hard to pass around here. This car doesn't give too much slipstream, and McCormack just isn't really close enough to try anything. Whether that's him holding something back, I doubt, but there could be potentially some of that of like thinking, right, how do I go on the attack in 10 minutes time? How do I kind of lull Naujoks into a false sense of security and then pounce?
Dáire McCormack's got his force feedback so low. He's managing every single movement with his hand. You can see the jagged movement there. You look at Nils, it's such a much more reserved style. It's just one movement in, one movement out, whereas Dáire is feeling it through the corner there. So he will be using the tyres a little bit more than Nils, I think, at this stage. That's kind of the way the driving is. Nils seems to have his force feedback set a little bit higher. It's just not as much frantic movement, but two completely different driving styles, both getting exactly the same result. That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like respect it that they, like say, you set your own settings. I've said it before with some drivers love an insanely high force, to the point of even when you show it to like some real racing drivers, they go, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's quite surprising how loose the steering is in a real race car.
Yeah. Like I said,
it's so difficult to turn a car. It really isn't when you're going at speed.
But all these, the way you kind of measure how much power is in a direct drive, obviously it's in Newton meters, and how it kind of works. It's not directly to like how weighty is the steering wheel, but as a rough thing. And if you speak to some sim racers, you go, what wheels, what Newton meters do you run? And they go, oh, like 20. And then you go and speak to like someone like Jensen Button and be like, how many Newton meters do you run? And they go 8. And you go, what?
I run 4.
Yeah, like it's more than enough. 8, 4, like it seriously is more than enough. Running 20, the way that all I think is, I'm just like, you're asking your thumbs to be broken here. I promise you, a direct drive running at 20, 25 Newton meters, if you get involved in crash, especially if it hits you right on that front wheel, it can absolutely break your thumb.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone's using 20. That's ridiculous. Like
some people do. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, insane. That's scary. That's heavy. I'll tell you what, Dáire McCormack is as close as he has been to the back of Nils Naujoks, and he just has a little look here. Will run out of grip. And what he's trying to do is trying to send the BS competition car offline, but then also having to brake for the back marked car in front, which I think is West Side Competition, right? It's the number 1 car. Who's the leader?
It's the leader. Yeah, it's not actually for. It's technically for track position.
Yeah,
but I think West Side will be in pit lane this time. I hope so.
No, they're staying out. They want to get involved.
Oh no!
No, this is the last thing you want, right? Like they want to be a part of this. I'm not sure it's the best decision ever, but this is going to get fruity here. So this is effectively for the battle. This is for the race lead, but we believe West Side Competition, well, they definitely have to come and pit again. Yeah,
they definitely do. They are. I'll tell you very briefly as to how long they are into the stint, as to when they'll be coming into the pit lane. They will be coming into the pit lane this lap or next lap. I was kind of going to say maybe they'll treat it like being a back marker, right?
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
We're doing our own race. You two are battling for the championship of the race win. Off you go, lads. We're not in the same fight. I respect that a lot from West Side Competition.
Yeah. it would appear that Dáire McCormack and Nils are both representing the west side with that level of respect. They must be flying the same colour bandana out the side of their cars. Anyway, round the left-hander before we got this big start-finish straight. And I tell you what, I think this might be the first opportunity here for Dáire McCormack. So we've got the bonnet cam on the big screen, and then we've got the TV cam on the right-hand side. It's brilliant stuff. Again, shout out to Mike. We do give him a lot of stick, but he's bloody good at his job. Running all the way down. This is where the chicane is for the Formula 1 circuit. Now we continue, and actually, Nils has been able to drive away. What's happened here? So look, the slipstream, McCormack's been able to catch up previously, but this time round, just hasn't.
I actually think that his exit wasn't that great.
Yeah, it must have been terrible. Did he miss shift or something? Because
potentially.
Yeah, he closed up from a massive gap previous 2 laps to potentially make a move, and then decided against it. And that time round was a lot closer. And I guess maybe being a little bit closer on the coming towards that straight. There is a little bit of jet wash there from the car in front. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of downforce on these cars, but it would have maybe affected them enough. But I guess the more laps you do now, you're gonna have to learn from that. Because they're both run wide here, and it's just a bit of a stalemate now, isn't it? It's like a game of chess.
Yeah, like I say, I think with their with McCormack's run onto the backstretch, I think whilst he was close to the BS competition, wasn't actually on throttle as early as he had been, was on a slightly more awkward line, and that was just, like I say, it just meant the speed onto the backstretch. But what we're talking about here is the tiniest of margins. This is how close these two are running. It's the subtlest of subtle differences between these two, which will decide whether Dáire McCormack's going to get a move. And Nils Naujoks knows exactly what he's doing here. He knows how to defend from someone. He knows that weird enough, the fastest way around a racetrack is the racing line. And so what you won't see is you won't see him, for example, with this distance between the two, you won't see Nils Naujoks taking the defensive line anywhere, because that is much slower, right? And all you're defending clean air there. There is no point. He knows exactly when he needs to defend. And even then, as much as this feels like it's not.
Dáire making a bit of a mistake there. Ran a little bit wide through 5. Now we come through 6 up towards 7. We just lost it. He's just, again, bogged down. As we come up to this part of the circuit, he's just in a bit... I think he's in too high a gear through there. He's trying to get as much traction as possible, but I'm not going to tell Dáire McCormack how to drive. I'm sorry. I'm actually... He's probably in the right gear, guys. Let's just shut up. But he's a little bit closer to Nils. I think if this was the last lap of the race, he would be in a lower gear there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. It's like I say, it's kind of, to be fair, I've always, I think for a lot of drivers, even when they're higher up, still sometimes even advice is advice, regardless of who it comes from. I actually had this with in GB4 with one of the drivers who actually ended up winning the championship, which is Nick Taylor. And I always said the reason why I respected him so much was because regardless of who you were, whether you had no racing experience or whatever, if you kind of had like an idea about something, whether it was something to do with racing or mentality or whatever, if you told him, he would listen. And I was like, I respect that, because it's like, you're not just going, yeah, but you're not a paid professional in the industry, or you're not better than me, so I'm not going to take any advice from you. Advice is advice. And so if he's in the wrong gear, he's in the wrong gear. You can be the best driver in the world and still be in the wrong gear. I kind of agree. I think he might be running it a little bit too high through there. But far be it from me to tell Dáire McCormack what to do. That's like,
I'll let his dad, Eamon Murphy, tell him.
Yeah, too right. Just can't believe they're related.
Round the final corner we go then, and again it's a stalemate as we head onto lap 144. 143 laps done, 144 lap into the books, 38 minutes 25 seconds to go. McCormack is pretty close this time round, probably as close as he has been going in towards turn number 1. If he can get a nice flawless sector number 1 here, he might be in a position to put pressure along that back straight. So if you come through turn 2, now down towards turn number 3, then got turns 4 and then 5 where he made a mistake last time round. So here's number 4. So he ran a little bit deep this time round and then really made a mess of this left-hander here, but it doesn't this time. As we come down towards turn number 6, opens up the right-hander a little bit more than that BS competition car in front. And I tell you what, this is as close as he's been so far, Lewis. I think there might be an opportunity here. Yeah,
there might. Like I say, it is getting closer and closer, but again, coming out of that backstretch, as much it doesn't feel like that's too much of a margin, I just am not sure. It does feel like he's closing in quite a bit. It's nailed the exit there, and it's whether he'll have an attempt into seam or whether it will have to wait until the double apex right-hander afterwards, at which point I've not seen Dáire McCormack get close enough to try anything into there. It's going to be very close. I'm not feeling it. Obviously, the corner's coming up pretty soon. It is getting quite close, but it's nowhere near close enough to give anything a go.
Certainly isn't. As we come then through the right-hand, again, you've got the double apex right-hand, as you quite rightly mentioned, that not close enough to really send one through here. Dáire McCormack has been faster through the final sector, so seems to have found something that Nils maybe is lacking ever so slightly, but the first sector really does belong to Nils. It is genuinely an intriguing battle to watch. We've yet to see them side by side. This is going to go down to the wire.
Thrilling stuff. Like I say, 37 minutes left to go in the race. There is almost nothing in what has been a long championship. Like I said, we've dealt with 4 9-hour races totaling 36 hours, an extra 6 hours that we've gone racing, of course, to move it up to 42, and then this to take it to 48, meaning that we've had 2 entire days of racing on circuit, and we've had our fair share of action for it. To be fair, we've had quite a lot purely in this race alone. I think the previous Cup race that we had, which was in the Porsche GT3 or GT Cup car, I thought that was absolutely superb, apart from some of the drama that we had later on. I
think the best races have come from the the Spec Series, to be honest.
Yeah. I say,
the BFP's been great, because we've got 7 different cars that has the top 7 in the championship, but in terms of the actual races, I think the Cup car and this car have been the best ones.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say, I mean, VCO have always been a bit like more out there when it comes to some of the ideas and stuff they run in championships. So I'm curious to see what's going to be the next sort of like couple of ideas that will be thrown into it, using this as sort of like the test bed, effectively, as to whether we're going to do a full championship where it's just GT3s, whether we're going to keep trying to do the Cup stuff, or there's going to be Cup stuff in its own championship where, you know, not BOP, but like you have a certain amount of ballast that you can use certain bits of in, you know, whatever race, those kind of things. These are the kind of things that we love with VCOs, that like all these ideas just kind of get thrown out there and we actually just try them. Confirmation of another 5-second time pit is going to be dished out to the 240 of Arnage competition, as I'll let you take this one because Dáire's close.
I'll tell you what, yeah, he wants to go to the inside. Now he's got to go all the way around the outside. We've seen there's no grip there at all throughout this race, but for the first time we see the 2 title protagonists go side by side. Can Dáire McCormack keep that overlap around the outside? Can he get it nice and tucked in? He can not stay side by side with Nils Naujoks, but first blood then of this stint goes to BS competition. But Williams now starting to push.
So it was well covered off from Nils Naujoks. Read it, dragged it all the way over to the right-hand side. Covered off the inside line, the inside attempt that would have almost certainly been an overtake for Williams Esports and up towards the race lead. At this point in the race, neither of these teams, especially BS competition as their leader, neither of these teams can make even the most remote of mistakes. If they make a mistake, they will almost certainly not be involved in the fight for the victory. They can make, you know, sure, a little tiny one, breathing away from an apex a little bit at the right place or whatever, but realistically, mistakes will cost them here, big time.
Because they can't afford any mistake, mate. That's what literally happened on that previous lap. It was turn 5. Nils ran maybe half a car's width wide into turn 6, where it's a pretty harsh braking zone, and that's what gave Dáire the opportunity to then catch up down the long straight. I'll tell you the exact corner. So we're coming through turn 2. We're heading down towards the turn. I'll tell you what, he's going to go for it. He has to go for it here. He's got the inside line, and well, this is an absolute freebie here. So Nils has made the mistake, and as we come then through the right-hander, Nils is going to keep his nose in there for sure. Has to keep his nose in there, and it's still side by side. But now Dáire's got the inside line, and well, Williams now lead this race. But I tell you what, Nils is going to try and come back at him. Is there still the overlap there? There is still the overlap there. There is almost a whisper of contact. It's not quite going to happen. And I tell you what, they both fought that very, very strongly indeed, but it is absolutely not over yet.
No, I still think that down into C, Nils Naujoks will be doing an attempt. I think that BS might try it. I'm not saying they're right. They might try and report Williams there for like squeezing them off or whatever going into 3. I don't think that's the case. I think they were just racing hard. But I'm absolutely sure we'll see some form of attempt on that one. But here we go. Nils Naujoks once again. He's closing up to the back of Dáire McCormack. He'll take the same defensive line that Naujoks took on the previous lap, up towards C. Naujoks to the outside, BS competition trying to return their way up to the race lead. Williams Esports a little bit too deep though, and it could be the opportunity coming down to the double right-hander. It's a costly mistake from Dáire McCormack, as once again Nils Naujoks sweeps down the inside. Is the up and under going to work for Williams Esports on this occasion? Yes, it is. They're going to switch back once more. Is there going to be another one coming? It's a fantastic fight between the top 2. It's a battle not only for the race but for the championship as well, and Williams Esports hit the front properly.
Yeah, Nils throws his hand up in the air in frustration, but it was an understeer moment. It looked like there could have been potential contact and he was driving out the way, but it wasn't. He just ran out of grip, unfortunately. So now he's got to do all of the hard work of making an overtake on McCormack, who does run wide here. So yeah, Nils Naujoks is not going to let him drive away, but ultimately I think if BS Competition want to win this whole championship, they have to go out there and overtake this lap. It's either this lap or the next lap. They cannot afford to let McCormack drive away. But it all comes from one small mistake through turns 1 and turn 2. And Dáire McCormack took full advantage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was an intense lap as we completely 146th one. Slap that one into the memory books because we enjoy a bit of that. Superb racing all the way around, but is Dáire McCormack about to try and check out from Nils Naujoks? Certainly had the pace earlier on to do so, but has he worn the tyres out a bit too much in his attempts, or has he still got plenty of grip behind that Williams Esports machine? He was saying earlier on the day that he wasn't feeling the highest of confidence was Dáire, but this is Dáire McCormack after all. You know what he's like when as soon as he gets in behind the wheel of the car and actually gets that confidence, he is almost unmatchable. Bit of lap traffic though could come into the favour of BS Competition as they head their way back out onto the Mistral Straight.
Well, no, I think it helps out Williams now initially with the slipstream down this back straight. I don't think that the BS is going to be able to catch up here, and I just think that Dáire is so much faster through sector number 1. You saw the pace he could carry through turn 2, and BS Competition or Nils Naujoks didn't really see a smile on his face. I think he might be a little bit reserved to think this might be over. I think that Dáire McCormack has got so much more pace now. He probably will just pull away. Is there one last trick up Nils Naujoks' sleeves? I'd love to see them battle this out side by side for the next 30 minutes. Nils is definitely not letting him go. He's not making it easy. I think McCormack might just have a bit too much pace at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is like, this isn't done, because it's not done. I mean, certainly not any even whiff of a mistake from Williams Esports now and again. The door's open, and I would be surprised if over the next half an hour that gap grows to anything more than 2 or 3 seconds. But realistically, I'd have to say, if you were to ask me now, I think the faster driver is ahead at the moment, which will be a big concern. And whilst you were saying about the slipstream aid that back marker will have towards Dáire McCormack, obviously is there, unless they jump out of the way here on the start-finish straight, could cause a couple of problems in that sector where we know Dáire McCormack is super fast, and that would delay his run and potentially open up an opportunity. Naujoks is going to throw everything at this for the next 40 minutes, or 30 minutes rather.
Well, yeah, this is now the negative, right? This is the negative of having a back marker in front. He's going to be furious right now. You're going to start to see Dáire be a little bit more animated. So this is actually an opportunity now for Nils Naujoks. He knows about it. I think he almost gave up a lap ago, to be honest. And now you can see the focus is back on his face. So here is where he's got to strike while the iron's hot. Try and stay as close behind Dáire McCormack as possible and hope he catches him just before they get onto that back straight. If he does, then there's an opportunity here for BS Competition to retake the lead.
Oh, it's so tough. Like you say, I mean, obviously Naujoks is just sat there at the moment. I think McCormack might be getting a little bit frustrated. But once again, as we head back out into the Mistral Straight, it turns from more of a hindrance to an assistance, at least for that first little bit, with the back marker just helping out Williams Esports just a touch. We ride on board with Nils Naujoks, who again gets those final little bits of slipstream from the TF Racing car. Over to the right-hand side they're going to go, and I get the feeling that Naujoks is not going to be close enough by the time we get up towards Scene, even though he is closing, and that closing rate will become more and more as they get down towards the corner. Is there the need to cover it off? I'm going to say no.
No, absolutely not here, but you've just got to make sure that you don't carry too much speed through there. And it's a mistake from McCormack again, runs a little bit too far wide. Nils fakes to go up the inside through again this double apex right-hander. This is where they've had nearly contact between each other, but it's actually BS Competition running out of grip and once again not being able to get away. Dáire McCormack does lead this race with Nils Naujoks, maybe with a new lease of life, still chasing him down. There's a little bit of clear air to work with for McCormack, but ultimately it looks like he's making a few mistakes here, so this still could get fruity.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is where like the experience, because obviously when we saw Naujoks ahead, his experience and his temperament, it's so calm. Obviously Dáire McCormack's a lot younger, maybe he doesn't have quite the same level of calmness, has hit the front and has started making a couple of mistakes where he was driving perfectly moments ago. Obviously the heart rate's increased, the blood pressure's through the roof, the focus is off the scale. And between McCormack and Naujoks, it is winner takes all between these two. And that is exactly how we've wanted to play it. It's what we've told you so many times in this race. It's what's keeping us right on the edge of our seats. A bit more curb being taken there from Naujoks on the exit. It seemed like a slightly better line through 1 and 2. But still, you can see, it gets something that Naujoks is getting a little frustrated there, just with the hand gesture.
Well, no, I think he's just scratching his nose, mate. So,
was it?
Yeah, no, just scratching his nose. He's good.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, the minimal mistakes we're seeing here, where they're just running, like that's a mistake there from McCormack, runs a little bit wide. This gives a big opportunity then for Nils Naujoks, and again, just getting a bit too much curb there. This is a huge opportunity for Nils, although he might be a little bit too close as we then head onto that back straight. But yeah, this is just the smallest mistakes being made by these pro drivers is absolutely fascinating. And this is not the position you really want to be in if you're Nils Naujoks. You do not want the outside line. You've got to try and almost side draft your way down into a sort of leading position. He didn't get enough toe to have enough overspeed to get ahead. That's what you can see it in his face there. He's smiling like, look, if I was behind him for maybe 100 more meters, there's a chance here of making a move for the lead. He's going to still try and go for it, but Williams in the greatest seat here possible, having that inside line. We've seen time and time again that the outside line just has minimal grip through there. Dáire McCormack brings the car back in touch. But yeah, I thought that Dáire McCormack was just going to run away with this once he got some clear air. That is not the case here. This fight is still on.
Yeah, like I say, a couple too many mistakes from McCormack at the moment. I was actually more surprised that McCormack left the inside as open as he did going out there, but because I thought surely Naujoks was going to just lob it back straight back down the inside, but yeah, he didn't. He was more than happy just to go to the outside and give it an attempt that way. 25 minutes left to go, so only a handful of laps. Remembering it's around 2 minutes a lap, so you're only talking of around about 12 to 13 laps around this racetrack left to go in this championship. Those final few moments, I'm really glad that we've been left. No, he's getting frustrated. See, it's not. It's definitely scratching this. I genuinely, I don't know. I just sort of saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was like, yeah, he's definitely.
No, I agree.
Just a scratch the nose.
Yeah, I read it as that as well, but yeah, no, scratching the nose, and that's nerves, you know. Whenever you get nervous, you start to feel scratchy, like itches on your nose, itches on your legs and stuff.
Back of your head.
And you're not really itching, you're just nervous. Like that's the way. I used to play darts, as I've told you a few times, Lewis, at a really good level. And I used to, when I first started playing darts on a stage, my legs used to feel like they were shaking, but they're not. But they used to. I used to get such bad nerves they would feel like they're made of jelly. You stood on jelly legs. It was horrendous. But they're not moving at all. They are not. No one else can see it. But for you, it feels like your legs are like jelly. So yeah, it's you get phantom itches, and you're just doing things. Your brain's just trying to basically hide the nerves. So it makes your body do weird things to keep it occupied, if that makes sense.
I used to have that with racing.
Yeah. That's why you don't do team events, right? You used to get like really nervous about that.
Nervous, yeah. No, I hate teaming up with people because it's just like that. I like it being my own car, and but even still, like, even when it always used to be the case. Now it's sort of like I don't really care, whatever. But it used to be the first braking zone of a race, and it's like my left leg was just made of jelly. It was like this is not going to work. And that's where you have those people. Lap one where they completely miss their braking zone, and they take a load of people out. It's not because they're trying to go for moves most of the time. It's more because they just got very nervous on that run towards the first corner. It certainly happens. It used to happen in commentary booths as well, but alas, certainly not anymore. As we'll see once again, Naujoks literally peppering the rear end of the Williams Esports car of Dáire McCormack. He could not get much closer. No, he nearly ran out. It was so close for him to run out onto the blue sandpaper, as I call it. That's what it's basically. Bland paper.
Yeah, something like that. And nearly, it would have cost him the chance of winning this race 100%. You see he's getting so much tighter to the left-hander, opening up the final corner than Dáire is. Dáire is being a lot more reserved, so that means that he's able to carry a bit more speed onto this straight. They've got a couple of back marks. I think that's VCOxLFM Competition, the all-black cars today, because they've not got a livery.
Correct.
So they'll be hoping for them to get out of the way. It's just, again, fascinating stuff here. It is genuinely like a game of chess at this point. It's not really it's Yeet. I think it's Yeet Esports as well. And they're just praying that everyone gets out of the way for them so they can fight this out. Because the last thing they want is for them to both be taken out and do a Jean Girard and Ricky Bobby and run across the line.
I mean, I'm really excited to see where this championship's going to go, because it doesn't seem as though it's comfortably found a home just yet, and that's exactly what we wanted. Part of me's also, this is again unicorns love. Love you guys and all of the fans and stuff around. I am glad Unicorns of Love aren't a part of this fight, because I don't think my brain could take a third car being involved in this that's not involved in the championship. You know what I mean?
No,
I like the fact that it's just these two. They're just fighting. It is for the win. It is for the championship, and it is just between these two. I like it.
Yeah, I think the Arnage competition car, they're going to catch this car at the wrong time. This, if that car gets out of the way. So Williams are going to get it done. Do BS competition get? I think they're going to lose a lot of time here. I'm not sure they're going to quite get this done unless they are really kind and do move out the way, and they have done. Oh god, they're going to go through so tightly onto the apex. You can tell by Nils, he's animated there, he's furious. But wow, the Williams car is the one that loses out so much there. You just don't need to be. You just don't need to put yourself in that position if you're the back marker there. Just get out of the way. Obviously, you're fighting for position with the car behind you, right? But don't put other people's races at risk there. That was a bit naughty, I think.
Oh, you remember how I asked earlier as to whether you thought the instance at coming down to that second chicane was going to get reported between BS Competition and Williams Esports? Because I said that, yeah, it got reported. Of course, right. NFA, because of course it was, because there was nothing in it. And they also reported... But
that's actually clever, because it gets Williams thinking as well. That the management would be like, well, we need to appeal this. They'll probably be thinking about the appeal process already if there was a penalty. So they're not thinking about the actual race. They're not trying to think about strategy or anything like that. So it's actually quite a clever thing to do, even if it's going to be a no further action. It just gets them thinking about something different.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit petty.
A bit petulant, isn't it? But
yeah, it's
I understand why.
Like I say, I get it. You know, also the thing is they're sat there being like, look, we kind of need to report it, because like if it is a penalty, then obviously we want them to get a penalty. If it's not, then it's not. No skin off our backs. All we're doing is like typing into a form to be like, what we want this reported. Yeah, like I get it from both sides. I just don't think it's the most sportsmanlike conduct. But obviously when you're battling for race wins and championships, then fair enough, and each their own on that one. But I do think it's a little bit petty. In
real life, you've got to pay for that. You've got to actually pay a fee to get something looked at in terms of stewarding.
Really?
Yeah. That would be in your championships as well, mate.
Yeah. No, I tend to like shy away from that kind of stuff, because it's like, I had
€1,000
no race control. Whew.
In DTM trophies, €1,000 if you wanted anything to be looked at in the race.
Was it always that? Like, do you get that money back if you're right, or if it is a penalty? No, it's just €1,000. Fair enough. Yeah. Like I say, most sports expensive. Let's see if he's going to lift out or anything. Nils Naujoks is going to go to the outside. We've seen him try this one a couple of times. What he might do is lift out to try and get straight up and underneath him, as he's tried a few times on McCormack. He's almost timed this one perfectly, and Nils Naujoks, he is alongside as they head down towards a double right-hander. Could this be it? They've tried this one a couple of times as they head down there. McCormack's trying to hang it around the outside. 20 minutes left to go in the championship. Is this one going to work? McCormack's there. He's hanging it all the way around the outside. It is superb from McCormack and Naujoks. Absolutely incredible racing, and Williams Esports hang on to the race lead. It's been beautiful from the pair of them. We want more of this.
Oh, fair play, lads. That's absolutely exceptional from both of them. Nils set him up perfectly well, but ultimately just wasn't enough. I can't wait to see that again in a replay. That was phenomenal. Although we're probably, by the time of replays, that was going to be happening again. These two are on the absolute top of their game. Nothing to report in that one. It was clean as a whistle. Here we go, part two.
Where is the move going to come? Is it going to be down into turn one? Nils Naujoks is once again very close. Dáire McCormack might take the defensive line. He pulled him all the way over to the right-hand side before they got onto the start-finish straight, really. It was so early as a move. Onto the brakes heavily, over the curb massively on the left, over the curb massively on the right. Differing line through the first couple of corners. A much more aggressive line for the exit going for Nils Naujoks, but it's not worked out on this occasion. And Williams Esports once again starting to pull away as Dáire McCormack is clearing off. Oh my goodness me, that was almost a send from Naujoks. He was a little bit later onto the brakes there and almost caught himself out. Certainly caught us napping, but that was very scary indeed. And again, I just don't know which way this is going. It is a proper nail biter if you're not on the edge of your seat when it comes to the world of sim racing. I just don't know what'll get you there.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. It's got to be something unexpected now. You can't be trying to make a move, at the usual places here, because after 6 hours, they've all learned how to cover each other off. So right now, you've got to just find yourself an opportunity somewhere. That was nearly perfect there, where he made it look like he was going to stick around the outside, but then went for the undercut, and it was nearly perfectly executed. He might be trying to go for this again. He might try to fake it, you know, as Dáire does move over. And there's an opportunity here. Nils now is just going to keep his nose around the outside, then force Dáire to run wide. It's now an opportunity for a part two. Dáire gets straight across. And wow, that is a very clever bit of defending. He's forced BS to be on the outside, and he's a little bit too close then to do the over and under once again. Dáire McCormack, well, his defensive displays here right now are absolutely tremendous.
Again, it's beautiful. I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Naujoks, like you said it on the last lap. These are two drivers that are absolutely at, you know, the top level of their ability, the top level on ACC. You know, if you want to see the very best racing on this platform, well, you're watching it. Yes, they might not be racing in GT3s, and I don't really care, to be honest. This car has delivered some fantastic racing on the run around Circuit Paul Ricard. I mean, it's not normally the greatest racetrack in the world, but we are being delivered a great championship finale between two of the very best. Just playing each other tactically. They're trying to think of their 3-4 corners ahead, trying to think about where their next opportunity is at all times, thinking, you know, looking backwards, playing their cards beautifully. I just don't know which way this is going to go. I agree with you from what you were saying earlier. I thought McCormack was going to get to the lead and was going to go. I thought we were going to be talking about a 2 or a 3 second gap by this point, that Naujoks was going to be there in case there's a mistake, but not there for a move. Well, I'm glad I'm wrong.
Yeah, absolutely sensational stuff from Naujoks as we come through the right-hander onto the back straight. That's turn number 7. Now we head down towards the back straight here. Once again, how close is Naujoks? Runs out of road there ever so slightly. Not sure he's as close as he has been previously, but as we head onto that back straight, he is actually very close indeed. So maybe an opportunity. And now I saw this on the last lap. McCormack moved over to the left far too early for me. So right now, I'm expecting Nils to close up and make it look like he's going to go around the outside and then send one up the inside at some point. Because Dáire McCormack did move over very early indeed. So now we're going to move over to the left. And will Nils look to now go up the inside? No, he's decided against it here. But yeah, McCormack is kind of leaving maybe a half a second window for an opportunity here as he gets across Nils Naujoks' bonnet. Nils looks to potentially make another move through the inside there of turn number 9. Look at them, almost high-fiving each other, almost a bit of contact, having to react to those brake lights at the back of that Williams Esports car. Oh, sensational stuff, Lewis. We've still got 15 minutes left. We are going to have earned our beers.
Oh yeah, and I'm definitely hoping there's a few left in the fridge when I get downstairs in a few moments' time, because it has been my voice is going to. I think both our voices are going to start struggling in the next 15 minutes if this race carries on. I know there shouldn't be any shouting in the commentary booth, but you know, sometimes needs must, and this is certainly a need to be just so excited and joyed by such an occasion. Once again, Naujoks. I felt like he didn't have quite the run that McCormack had there. I can't imagine what the conversation's like between each of the teams. All I can say is it seems like Naujoks is having a big chat with, of course, the camera at least. I'm sure Philip Kida's around. Potentially might have gone back to bed because it's incredibly early in the morning in Australia. You can see by the amount that Dáire McCormack's mouth is moving, he ain't chatting at all. There is no conversation happening right now. He is purely focused on what is going on. I'm glad because I can see he's in a channel with about 8 different people in it.
Yeah, no, it is just all about business right now. You can see that actually it's a bit of a mistake there from BS Competition. Might lose a bit of speed. You can see the slide there on the exit as we head then onto that back straight once again. Definitely not as close as they have been previously. So maybe this is the time where the initial start of this stint, Dáire didn't really push to make an overtake, did he? He just stayed behind Nils. Has he saved something in terms of tyres? Nils will close up, but he's nowhere near as close as he's been previously.
Oh yeah, my things are starting to calm down. My heart's coming down a little bit when it comes to the heartbeat. The 911 Hello YouTube car is going to get a warning due to returning a position. So they've fulfilled that part of it. They've not ignored it like what we saw earlier on, where
I love that.
A team ignored.
Perfect.
Well, the race control say return a position, you get a warning. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's sometimes that's all that's needed. It stops a battle from being spoiled, which sometimes 100%. A penalty can do.
Yeah, and then they know that next time it won't be a warning, you know?
Exactly.
even if you return a position, you've just got to just don't punt someone off. It's pretty much the lesson there. Just don't take someone out all at once.
Do better. Easier said than done. I know that there are other teams in this race, by the way, who are sat there thinking, oh, can you focus on the battle further down the order and all this kind of stuff? And I'd be like, yes, normally on occasion, we'll check in with some of the other fights, but
surely no one's saying that.
Surely not. I've not seen anyone say it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying if anyone's thinking it. If
okay.
I want to look. Nah. Not when there's this fight going on. Not when it's for the race win and the championship, and it's nothing between them. We're heading into the final 12 minutes, the final 5-6 laps of this championship. There is nothing being left on the table from the pair of these. Naujoks still, despite losing quite a bit of time over the previous lap, dropped back again to that kind of region where we were like, maybe it might be swinging its way to McCormack. Bang, he's right back there again. These two are just showing that they are the very, very best, the absolute class of the field. I'm kind of curious to see what kind of lap times they're playing out in comparison to the rest of the field. They're faster than pretty much everyone. Fantastic. Of course they are.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff from both of them. They've got a couple of back markers to deal with. Nils, though, is very close this time round. You can see that his face has gone very straight indeed. He realises this is the opportunity. And is this the time where he fakes to go around the outside and sends one up the inside? I think Dáire might be getting a little bit of a toe in front, but it won't be anything astronomical. So this is the opportunity there. And as you can see, it's 1.8.9 kilometers all the way down this long back straight. We head up towards where the chicane would be if it was a Formula 1 race from back in the day. There it is, but we continue. We run all the way down then to the sweeping right-hander, absolutely flat out here. So Nils has set Dáire McCormack up. Now he goes out one way, Dáire covers it off. So I think he's got to make it look like he's going to go around the outside, then potentially take the inside line before corner entry. But as we can see here, is he going to try and keep that overlap? He's going to run wide. Now he's going to be forced to go around the outside. I just don't see the benefit of having you trying to hang your car around the outside unless there's a potential over and under. But I'll tell you what, he absolutely is going to put it there. Dáire McCormack closes that door, almost contact between the two of them. It's absolutely perfect from Nils Naujoks and Dáire McCormack once again. These two putting on an absolute clinic.
Yeah, really are putting on the show we want to see. Like I say, I could see that up and under coming from Nils Naujoks. The fear was that McCormack might have drifted off of the apex and was coming back round to it. Did manage to give just enough room. Obviously, there was the run into the inside where you can actually kind of take a little bit of the curb. But realistically, yeah, nothing between the two of them. Almost contact, but almost contact's not contact, so you could absolutely go for it. And Nils Naujoks, you can be sure. I think if that was the last lap of the race, I think foot would have been pinned.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they definitely could have said that. Almost contact is definitely not contact. That's true. That would hold up. Head down towards turn number 1.
I only say factual points on broadcasts.
That is true. Yeah, core law, that would hold up. So that's good. Through turn 2 we go. And as we head then down towards turn number 3, they are still relatively close. And again, on the shot here, look at the shot on the right-hand side of your screen, and look at the slight different lines they're taking there. Dáire able to carry more speed on entry, but you see Nils is able to carry more speed on the exit. He's a little bit slower through the corner, but on the exit, he sees a bit of a slide there from Dáire McCormack. They've got the Symphony of Pistons car in front of them, I believe. It's again a car that is a lap down, probably going to be 2 laps down now by the time they exit this straight. Is that the Symphony of Pistons? It's one of the pink cars. It's tough to see.
I think it might be Queen's design. It is quite hard to tell in the light. It's not Symphony of Pistons because it's Symphony of Pistons actually has a lot more white on it today.
It does actually.
Unacceptable.
Are they going to get out of the way though and make this easy for the race leaders? Like just drive your car off the track. There they are. Well, no. Why? No, don't get involved.
I think it was more.
They're going to let them go. Cool.
I think it was McCormack following from the slipstream.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point, actually. But again, because of that back marker, there's not really been any action on this lap. And then in front of them, who's that? Was that Visceral?
I don't know, but that was a bit of a mistake from Dáire McCormack. I can't really see which one it is coming through the foreground. I believe you are right. I think it is the Visceral car. But almost carries a little bit too much speed into the corner there to Dáire McCormack. That was very scary. And Nils Naujoks nearly had his opportunity, nearly absolutely went for it. It's actually Aspar, the car ahead.
Right.
So
similar liveries.
Well, it's red. The colour red.
Yeah.
So, oh, right, great, yeah. Everyone in it, right? Oh, the pink's not red. Yeah, no, it's not, but from a distance. Yeah, great. Do you think if it was the last lap of the race, if they were this close, do you think Nils is going for it in the final corner?
You have to, don't you?
At least look.
Yeah,
You've got to.
and hope that the other team then outbrake themselves to try and avoid contact. You almost got to force them to drive themselves off the road. If you create contact, you know you're done, right?
Yeah.
But then if you're Dáire, you just turn in. If someone's sending it, you just turn in, right?
Yeah, I mean, the faking it in the final corner worked. I mean, it was 2014 and the V8 Supercars Championship Race 2 at Adelaide, I remember, with Scott McLaughlin versus Jamie Whincup. I'll never forget it. It was one look. Jamie Whincup went straight on, going into the final corner of the race after a fantastic battle, by the way. But is that Aspar just off the road? Oh, it is.
Kind of a nice thing to do, but Christ, that would have been 50p, 5p time for these two cars.
It's where, like, if you want to get out of the way, there's a way of doing it, and driving straight on or cutting a corner.
Predictable.
Just do what you do. I get that you want to kind of jump out of the way of them, but that'll only make potential mistakes. They're not distracted by that. If it were me behind the wheel, I'd have gone straight on with them. But these drivers are a lot better than this, so you know.
I would have gone further left.
I would have gone so far off the track, it would have ended up in manicure, mate.
I'm like, we got what was going on? We got to drive off here? Is that how it works? I'm just following what I'm seeing here. We head then down in towards turn number 9 once again. Dáire McCormack is going to run a little bit further wide, a little bit of a dab at the brakes there just to get the car settled. Nils Naujoks has to do exactly the same, so it's normal service resumed. We've got ourselves just under 6 minutes now to go in this race. So what we're looking at, 4 laps from, oh no, less than that, right? It's going to be 3 laps remaining once they cross the line next time around. And it's between, as it has been pretty much for the entirety of this race, BS Competition versus Williams. They had a sprinkling of Unicorns of Love, but they're now down in 3rd position due to a drive-through earlier. Would have been interesting to see where they would have been if they didn't have that drive-through. But these two have been the stars of the field today and the championship. And well, Dáire McCormack had to make an overtake during the stint to get himself in the lead of this race, and I figured he was going to drive away. We both figured he was going to drive away. That has not been the case. Nils Naujoks has kept his car right behind him as we cross the line. It's 3 to go, and well, it is basically as simple as this. Whoever finishes ahead of each other here, whoever wins this race, will be the FLExTREME VCO and LFM champion.
You're certainly right. 3 laps left to go. Naujoks, McCormack, Williams BS Competition. Oh, I think we're in for a proper. I'm genuinely. It's been a while since I've commentated on a proper championship finale like this, where it has been nothing separating them in the final moments. It is breathtaking, especially when, even now, whilst you could say, yeah, sure, maybe Williams Esports, because they've got track position, they're in the favoured position. Of course they are. But who's going to win this championship? And genuinely, with 3 laps left to go, I couldn't tell you with 100% certainty, not even remotely.
Yeah, there's no chance either of these teams will be saving tyres now. They are throwing absolutely everything at it. This is as close as Nils Naujoks has been to the back of that Williams Esports car. Is this the defining moment of the championship? Is this the defining moment of the day? Nils Naujoks closes into the back of that Williams Esports car. Plenty of straight to work with here. And which way do you go? He's forced to go around the outside. Does he have enough overspeed though? By the time they come down to the sweeping right-hander, I tell you what, he's got to give it a go. Dáire McCormack forces him out wide. He has to sweep it around the outside. Does he have the grip though? And it's been the same story all race long. There just isn't any grip around there. Dáire McCormack will return back into the lead, and well, you can see that Nils Naujoks trying to get underneath him, but there just won't be the grip there. Dáire McCormack will get straight across the bonnet, and wow, that is as close as they've got to an overtake since Dáire got into the lead.
Yeah, I was very concerned there. I thought the BS Competition car was going to get straight back to the inside through the double right-hander. We've seen a couple of times, but I mean, these two are good enough. They know how to judge it. Again, if it was me, that car would have been round because no spatial awareness. But these two, absolutely fantastic, thrilling stuff as we head onto the penultimate lap of the race and the penultimate lap of the season. Out wide there, Dáire McCormack. Can it be another opportunity? Nils Naujoks is right there. The race down towards the first corner. The opportunity on the horizon. Who's going to be winning this championship? It does seem though as though, despite missing that apex, the drive off of the corner has been more in favour of the Williams Esports car. BS Competition taking a look down the inside of the first corner. Naujoks is going to just fill the mirrors. It's not going to send it.
Oh, I figured he had to do it. I honestly thought he had to do it there. He's actually lost more time doing that, I'm sure of it. The gap's come out. I'm just not sure why he's even tried to send his nose there unless he's making that potential overtake. I think you've got to try and force something here with 2 laps to go. I want to see them race cleanly, although there's a slight mistake here from McCormack. He will send the car out too far wide, and ultimately this does give Nils Naujoks another opportunity, but just not sure he's as close as he was previously. And in all fairness, actually, he might be even a little bit closer. We're onto the back straight once again, Lewis. Is it this time, the penultimate lap, the time the BS competition get back into the lead?
It was unbelievably close the previous lap. Let's see if it's going to be so this way. Of course, Dáire McCormack's going to pull it all the way over to the left, then straight back over onto the right-hand side, trying to break that slipstream, trying to make sure he's taking the correct line so that he can take it in back over to the left, slightly back over to the right. We're going one way, then back the other again. McCormack with the inside line running up towards Scene. It's going to be close once again. BS Competition's closing in. Could this be it for the championship? He's not going to be alongside enough. He's tried this one a couple of times, but it could be the up and under that might work for Nils Naujoks. He's given that one a go a few times, but I think the front left is absolutely screaming.
No, that's perfect from McCormack there.
Yeah.
McCormack has just slowed a little bit more there to force him to stay on the outside, so he can't go through the back of his car, right? So he was just, they had enough of an overlap there for McCormack. I'm going to give him the credit for that. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think he's just dabbed the brakes there so that there was no opportunity for Nils to go underneath him to take the lead. It's, again, normal service resumed. One more and a bit lap to go for Dáire McCormack and would seal the championship for Williams. BS competition, they've got to throw the kitchen sink because everything else has been thrown out there. It's just the kitchen sink left. 1 to go, and there's a mistake there from McCormack, and I'll tell you what, this could open up an opportunity down to 1.
Yeah, I mean, is your heart racing? Because my heart's racing. Here we go again. One final lap for the VCOxLFM FLExTREME, and it's Dáire McCormack against Naujoks. Once again, a slight mistake at the final corner, but he's got the straight line speed. He seems to have the drive off the corner and heading up into that first sector. Once again, mirrors being filled from Nils Naujoks. He tried it on the previous lap. It's not going to work on this one as they head round the first corner for the final time, down into that awkward chicane for the final time, the run onto the Mistral straight for the final time. This is it, last chance saloon. Is Nils Naujoks going for anything? It's just about filling the mirrors right now. Here's an overtaking opportunity, but it's not one I think Naujoks will pounce on. But is it going to be close enough coming down into Scene? That is the question. Out onto the Mistral straight, and Dáire McCormack still holds on.
Final opportunity then for Nils Naujoks, currently residing in 2nd position in the number 89 car for the championship. This would mean they reside in 2nd position. There's a smile on Naujoks' face. Maybe he feels like there's no opportunity to do this. We can see that he can, wow, Dáire McCormack is trying to get the toe from a back marker here. They need to get themselves out of the way. They do drive off the track entirely. As you can see though, the BS competition car is closing that gap. This is the perfect opportunity now for the over and under because there's no overlap to work with. So you're going to see Nils pull out to the left here and then try and dive underneath Dáire McCormack once they get through the apex of this right-hander. And has he got enough speed here? Dáire McCormack will shoot the car straight across, and now it's the outside line for the Zebra. The Zebra now going to try and do exactly the same move once again on the exit of this corner. Runs out of room there, unfortunately, but Dáire McCormack just about holding firm. A couple of corners to go here. It looks like Williams may have sealed their fate, but still, BS will push.
Yeah, it's whether there is going to be that final move. We were speaking about it. If they were this close coming on to the final lap, is there going to be an opportunity in that final corner from Nils Naujoks? Just a couple more for Williams Esports to come out on top, but the BS competition fancy something here into the penultimate corner. Last one left to go. It's a tight right-hander. Naujoks taking a lot of speed, and of course he's going to send it, but has it been read brilliantly? It has! And of course, Dáire McCormack out of the final corner. A brilliant stuff between the two of them, and it's going to be Williams Esports winning the very first VCOxLFM FLExTREME. Dáire McCormack across the line, Naujoks in 2nd, but massive applause to the pair of them. That was absolutely sensational from two of the best teams on a set of Corsa Competizione at the absolute edge of their powers for 6 fantastic hours at racing to round out the season. Incredible stuff.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dáire McCormack, Nils Naujoks, BS competition, Williams Esports. Sim Racing needed that finish. That was absolutely outstanding. Of course, Nils was going to send it around the final corner. It was read like a book, though, from the young, no pretender, just a young superstar in Dáire McCormack. And Williams Esports come across the line, picking up the FLExTREME Championship. It was delicious. We're on board with our P3 as well. There is a podium, of course. Unicorns of Love doing the business. Felix Arndt then for Get Closer Racing picking up a P4. And then, well, we're on board now with Jesse Kalpanen. But Lewis, oh,